calm, cool, and collected? Will they be able to put the series away, or will we see more firepower from eUnited, as was the story on Consulate? That'll be figured out over the next 30 to 45 minutes. eUnited's going to be starting on defense, despite the fact that they are blue on your screen, and as such, they will start the ban phase off. They'll remove Thatcher.
Thatcher gone on Clubhouse, of course. I'm sure most are used to seeing that. And it's going to be hammered home with a Maverick ban. All right. So this is going to be that rigid Clubhouse that I think we've seen this quite a lot. It feels like this is the norm now. Parker, is this the norm?
It's the new abnormal, Michael.
Sure, I'll take that too. I mean, the Thatcher Maverick ban, there is, of course, Collie. But a lot of teams don't bring Collie just because it's a bit of a sacrifice when it comes to that frag potential. Not everyone can land shots with their sniper. We'll see what actually happens, though. I mean, with the new ADS slider, it's easier to hone in her specific sensitivity and be a little bit more comfortable. Now, bans completed. Vigil was banned out, curiously. That's a very different ban. It's going to make roaming a lot more difficult, and the Wamai ban stays.
I mean, Vigil goes hand in hand with the style of play that we see on defense for SSG. Now, we always talk about how Space Station popularized that 3-floor roam on Clubhouse Basement. You have a Mute, you have a Mozzie, you have a Castle, you have a Vigil, maybe you got a Legion, maybe you got a Mira. We don't really know. But regardless, Vigil is usually an operator who shows up in that mix. Now, I think it's safe to say that eUnited's use of Vigil on Consulate, not the strongest. Vigil seemed to work quite well for SSG at stopping eUnited from getting the intel that they wanted when eUnited was on attack on Consulate. Couple that with the fact that Vigil is just a very strong operator in terms of the way that SSG likes to play on defense on this map, I can understand why they would remove him. The question is going to be, are we going to see anything different from SSG on defense? On attack, we already see something a little different, Michael. Do you notice it on SSG's side?
The fuse.
The fuse, Michael!
Yeah. That's a really odd pick. Let's see. If it were on basement, I would understand it because you can use it in kitchen to clear out a lot of utility and, crucially, deny impact tricking. Rexon will get the lead-off kill onto Bosco. It's a quick aside here. Down goes one of your hard destructors. Bleh. I believe that was from Workshop Window. It looks like he was standing... Yeah, it was from Workshop Window. He was standing on top of the pallets. He looked through the window on the top of it. And I guess Bosco wasn't expecting that. Anyway, yeah, Fuse is a little bit weird. And I don't know that it's going to be too terribly useful on cache, specifically.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a fuse get brought in when they're attacking downstairs and being used in kitchen. I mean,
Yeah.
England actually is the one that really jumps to mind there, but already losing Bosco is no bueno, by the way, for SSG. 45 seconds in, and they're going to find themselves behind. Yeti might actually be in a position to take out another as he tries to play off of this angle. He's got Kansan right next to him just in case. I think he's rubber banding, so he's having some issues with the doorway there. That might be...
I think he's just trying to bait him. I think he's knifing to try and bait him into his teammate.
It's like when a bull kicks at the ground.
Yeah, kind of. Come get me. And you can see that Thinking Nade's not taking the bait because Thinking Nade's not stupid.
That's why Thinking's in his name.
Exactly.
Fultz is there and he loses the fight against Yeti, so eUnited doubles up on their advantage, and Thinking Nade is still just waiting ever so patiently. He's not really able to do too much just yet. Kansan's fallen off the top of Red Stairs, and he'll watch very intently as Grixer abandons the wall that is now open leading into CCTV. So even though they've lost two very crucial members of their team, Space Station is hoping to inch ever closer to that objective. Rampy has not used a single cluster charge, and by the way, Fuse has changed a little bit. Instead of having 3 cluster charges, he's got 4 now, and does all but a single point of damage to Yeti, and the Kaid is going to live to see another day. Rampy finishes him off, though, inside of Garage, and now he's looking for the bandit above. If he doesn't look to the left, he will be mincemeat. Doesn't know if somebody's on rafters, dealing a lot of damage to Rexon, and there you go, tapping away. They've equalized now. Rexon just needs to be taken out, the remainder that there is, but Rampy doesn't look up, and Grixer finally gets the kill onto the fuse. It's a 4v2, make it a 3v2 as Rexon is now taken out in Garage, and this has just been non-stop action.
30 seconds here for the remaining two SSG members to put some work in. At least they've got a decent platform to do it with. Thinking cannot actually make a rotation. He doesn't have the explosives left. I thought he might have, but no, upon second glance, he's going to have to vault this window. That's really bad for Thinking Nade. Canadian will have to make a window of opportunity, and he'll do that by pressuring from the balcony. Gets an entry frag. Thinking Nade will get one for himself. It's all on Grixer now. He has to stay alive in the last 5 seconds. Luckily, Canadian doesn't fully commit to the push. There's one for Grixer. Could be the second. It's going to be narrow, and Grixer wins it out. On the time, eUnited will take round number 1.
Great kill on the Thinking Nade from Grixer, putting Canadian in a spot where Thinking Nade's usual forte of flank watch / watching over his opponents doesn't really work out all that well, and Thinking Nade was already kind of low on HP, so... Wow, what a round that was from eUnited. All starting off with Yeti as well. Yeti's position inside a garage, taking out 2 members of Space Station that tried to flush him out, being unable to do so with cans in there just if he was needed. Thinking Nade gets away, Rampy comes in, can't tie it up, doing a lot of damage, but then looks the wrong way. Overall, already a better start to this map for eUnited than most people probably expected.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
Yeah, really solid start there, I gotta say. Grixer, in particular, of course, those 2 big kills and just staying alive. That's crucial. Now, this is curious. Look at that. We're seeing the can opener brought on Bosco. Capitao in play here, and Capitao, a really powerful operator, not only on this map, but on the map we saw earlier. That's why he was banned. And SSG actually, in particular, as teams go, tend to have some pretty ingenious strategies to employ with Capitao. So we'll see the magic that they're able to work in this round, possibly, assuming he doesn't die at the beginning of the round, like he did in the first round. Now, there is only the can opener on Capitao and the thermite. That's limited hard destruction potential. And they didn't bring the fuse, curiously, despite the fact that they knew it would be a bottom floor defense, or at least they would assume it would be a bottom floor defense. Maybe they thought Jim would be brought because of the fuse giveaway. Whatever the case, though, fuse is not here. And now, SSG, a different tool set. Because there's no Maverick, by the way, Yeti will be able to Electro Claw trick, Kaid trick, the Moto dropdown. And the only way that the attack will be able to stop him from doing this is by confronting him directly from either blue or the bottom of main stairs. Not an easy task.
The Electro Shuffle.
Yeah, we could... Oh, yeah, that's right. We forgot we called it that.
The Electro Shuffle. No,
Yeah,
that's a very stupid thing to call it. I was joking when I said it.
Oh, okay. I like it.
All right, fine. I guess we can use it.
Electro Shuffle.
People are going to be like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, it's like... This just had a lot of names throughout history, and I don't think that's ever really caught on, but who knows? Maybe we can force it down the pipeline.
No Thatcher, no Maverick means that there's going to be an interesting set of circumstances that the attackers will have to navigate. In particular, in shaking the utility off of the hatches. And obviously, as you pointed out, with the Kaid in play, Yeti has used both of his Electric Claws. It means that 2 of those hatches are going to be out of reach. It looks like the Electric Claws are on the Moto hatch and the blue hatch. So the kitchen hatch, you should be good to get, providing nobody impact tricks it.
Now, Thinking Nade is in a position to confront the Kaid in Moto, but he's not able to do so just yet. He's going to go ahead and drone out first. You can see that Thinking Nade's very thorough. He wants to be careful about this confrontation. And the reason is because he's alone. If Thinking Nade loses his fight, well, no one's there to refrag for him. There's challenges going on by Dirt Tunnel as well. You can see the attack is covering all different avenues. 2 in Dirt Tunnel, 1 bottom main, and they're also coming from blue. In Dirt Tunnel, though, Alfama's going to win the first engagement, but not the follow-up. Canadian is better when he knows where to pre-fire. It's a good pick for the attack, and it'll equalize the man count as we get to the last 40 seconds.
eUnited with the opening pick both times. Michael shows that they are no slouch when it comes to being aggressive on defense and reading into the push that's going to happen from Space Station. But Space Station, a bit of a course correction here now, as Dirt Tunnel is completely in control of SSG. Canadian can't hit the other shots onto Grixer. 50 HP or so gone, but Grixer finds kill number 3. There goes Fultz and Bosco, and right now the defense holding up quite well on Clubhouse. Thinking nade with a snap on to Yeti, but he's got 2 more members of eUnited to find, and he'll get finished off by Rexon, who pushes up over towards Moto. eUnited 2 in a row right now on defense, proving that Dubhouse isn't exactly all that when it comes to SSG.
Well, a continuation of the seemingly refreshed eUnited lineup, and the holdout there was solid. But a big part of that is the fact that SSG spread themselves so thin. Now, it's not actually necessarily all SSG's fault. I mean, look at that scenario. What are you going to do? You don't have a Maverick, you don't have a Thatcher, which crucially means you're not going to be able to open up some key drop-downs. What are you going to do? Your options are extremely limited, so SSG does what they can. They push all the different avenues available to them as the attackers, despite the lack of hard destruction available, and they attempt to play off of picks. Unfortunately for SSG, the picks actually go the way of eUnited. The one shining ray of hope that SSG had in that round was Canadian inside of Dirt Tunnel. He was doing some massive work there, but you could tell Grixer, aware of that, got a little bit aggressive, asserted dominance on the Dirt Tunnel, and eUnited regained full control of the round. So, not an easy mountain to climb there for SSG, and it won't be for eUnited when we get onto the second half. Attacking that bottom floor with a Cade in play, a Maverick, and a Thatcher Band, no matter what, no matter who you are, that's going to be difficult.
I like how the bans have favored eUnited so far, but I mean, they're favoring eUnited right now because EU is on defense.
Yeah.
This could change entirely and could swing in the favor of SSG when they go on a defense. I mean, we'll see. I think this is where we'll know if the levies hold or not, because when you look at a typical Clubhouse defense, Gym tends to be the site that you'll lose. Now, if eUnited can hold it, then I think the safe money or the smart money would be on this being an exceptionally defender-sided Clubhouse. Obviously, that is just us speculating. But if there is a bomb site that SSG needs to win, it's Gym. And it needs to happen right now, frankly, because they've already surrendered the first 2 rounds to eUnited. And honestly, it hasn't really been that close. The first round did come down to a 1v1, but it was a desperation attempt, it seemed like, from SSG. Excellent impacting happening from Grixer, who's proving that he's not just a good shot, as Cash is secured, and eUnited are able to fall far enough back, but still hold position of Cash, far enough removed from construction and then the bomb sites.
Yeah, that was some great impact tricking, but unfortunately, because there was only one set of impacts, they weren't able to fully hold the wall, and thus won't be able to fully hold Cash. As I was about to transition, the Clash will delay the push. You can see, actually, Alfalma falls further back as we hit the middle of the round. The 90-second mark is often a trigger for many defensive teams to fall off of their extended roam, and indeed it is here for Alfalma, as well as the, as you can see, office dropdown being opened up, or logistic, as many refer to it as. Now, we've got that control for SSG. No kills going either way just yet. The Clash is going to be a major factor, and the longer this clock winds down, the worse Clash is going to be to deal with. So attack SSG, they need to get a little bit more assertive. That's their only option right now. And actually, that barbed wire persisting is going to be a bit of a pain here for SSG.
Just a bit of sloppiness from SSG, and they'll find themselves giving up that first kill to eUnited for the 3rd round in a row. eUnited obviously getting on the scoreboard early is a significant advantage, and they can potentially keep this rolling as damage is done to Yeti, and he peeks out onto Rampy and gets punished for it. Rampy losing a lot of HP in the process, but still soldiering on. Bolts a kill of his own onto Kansan, and the Clash is getting maneuvered away, but will have to go for some fragging power. Nobody is going to be able to do too much at all. After that first kill from eUnited, they give up every single death, and it's almost a flawless round from Space Station, and they find themselves finally on the board.
Wow, I gotta say, honestly, the setup there from eUnited was pretty awesome. I mean, look at all the layers, the stuff they were doing. The impact tricking, that was really cool. The Clash, I love that. Definitely a major delay factor. The Ka-yeeted barbed wire, are you kidding me? So, a lot of people might be wondering, okay, what's the significance of Kai-yeeted barbed wire? Well, I mean, obviously it's going to destroy things like ash charges. We actually saw that. But also it destroys things like drones as well. So much utility can be burnt on a Kai-yeeted piece of barbed wire. And if they're placed well, then they potentially can actually influence the round quite significantly. However, SSG, despite all the utility that eUnited was placing so cleverly and executing so well, just won their gunfights. I know that seems kind of lazy, but let's be honest. What happened there? SSG collapsed onto logistics office. eUnited committed to the engagement and lost hard. Not back and forth engagement. Just hard one-sided sweep engagement for SSG. And those happen from time to time. It's nothing crazy or terrible. It doesn't reflect poorly on eUnited necessarily. It just, the castle crumbled. Sometimes it happens that way. Now we'll see if eUnited can recover in the immediate. But one thing is, you were talking about how if Gym was won by eUnited, we're looking at a very decisively defender-sided clubhouse. Well, they lost it. And that's a good ray of hope for both teams, to be honest, on the attacking side.
Bomb located by attackers.
Did you just hear that, by the way?
What happened?
That sound sounded like the yokai drone. I was like, there's no echo on the board, so
That
was weird. Maybe something went wrong on my end, but I heard it and it was like the gust sound of the yokai drone using its ability. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't hear it very well because in order to, I have a complicated headphones situation, but it's basically
you also only have one ear.
Right,
so...
that's the specific problem because like I have to kind of have my headphone off of one of my ears so I can hear myself talk, so I can modulate my voice properly. It's part of casting. But then also I need to hear you, so I have to have the cup half on, half off on my one ear. So it's like I barely hear the game. It's weird.
I think they managed to open up enough of it. A great shot from Rampy onto Grixer, who was scrambling by the wall onto CCTV as Ace's gadget goes buck wild, and it looks like they managed to open up enough of the wall. I don't think they've got all of it just yet. There it goes. Well placed, and that's as big of a chasm between the two panels as you could expect. They'll be able to waltz right on in. eUnited also losing their first duel finally, even though it wasn't much of a duel. Grixer was shot from the back, so he wasn't really able to return much fire. His job to keep that wall intact does not work, and he loses his life in the process. So SSG obviously in better shape than previously attacking on Cash, but you've still got well over a minute to go and plenty of time. But here goes Alfama. SSG finds themselves now with 2 kills. Haven't lost a single soul yet. In fact, no damage has been done to them. They're in pretty good position right now.
It's a good pick there for Kansan, eliminating Bosco, bringing it a little bit closer to even, though still advantage for SSG, especially as they open up that workshop wall. Now that C4 on Yeti is going to be crucial, and as Rexen gets eliminated by Fultz, I think by the garage, it gets even worse. Actually, look at that. eUnited absolutely melted. SSG get all the destruction they need done despite the lack of a Maverick or a Thatcher, and they absolutely frag out when they go for the site execution.
Good stuff. Very convincing stuff as well from SSG, whose first focus is on taking control of the first floor below the objective, pushing out the bandit as you're going to need to do. And I think the one person who let that slip by them happened to be Yeti. He was the most important player on eUnited in round number 1 when it was a Cash CCTV defense. He was not pushed into a fight at all on that previous round. He was a non-factor in Garage when the push onto the wall was happening. Grixer loses his life, bandit batteries disappear, and the hard breach of Ace gets the wall open. Everything kind of crumbled after that as there was a bit too much aggression as they swung onto construction, got punished for it. That was really it. Then after that, it came down to 50-50 gunfights, and SSG knew that they had opened up enough of the site. They knew roughly the positioning of the eUnited players, and they just won every engagement. They swept through. I think it was like 20 seconds of action, and that's it. That's in the books. So not particularly interested in going back there again. eUnited's focus turns towards the basement to the other bomb site that they've won, which is Church and Arsenal.
Now this time, SSG is attacking the basement with the fuse. Last time they didn't have it. It seemed like SSG brought the fuse assuming it would be a basement defense, right? And then it was a cache defense. And then when they expected it to be a basement defense, maybe I'm thinking that SSG thought that eUnited would outsmart SSG, and instead of going to the basement, they would go to gym second round. And then SSG's like, okay, they're going to go to gym, so we don't need to bring the fuse. But but no, here we go. It's finally lined up. Now we can expect the fuse to be used in the kitchen to clear out utility, get the Kayut Electric Claw, and prevent impact tricking on the drop down. Assuming Rampy gets there safely. Now, Grixer is prepared to C4 from below, as you can see. And if he's got a Valkyrie cam, yeah, he's almost certainly got a Valkyrie cam inside the kitchen. He'll be able to, yeah, there it is. He'll be able to call out his own C4s. So he's just waiting for the opportunity. Possibly there's a pre-play C4, because look at that mark. Now, it's hard to tell. I don't have the sound. I don't think so, actually, based on what it looks like. So it's just going to be Grixer waiting for an opportunity to destroy someone from below. And the hard destruction on the drop down will start to come out here.
I am so eager to see this fuse in action.
Me too. The anticipation is palpable.
There it is. We'll watch. We'll watch. Waiting for the... Oh.
He's scared of the C4.
Yeah.
Bomb located by attackers.
He must have heard it.
Trying to bait it out. Like, I understand that. I get it.
I think he's gonna have to place his charge to bait it out, I think.
I think that's the point. Yeah, I don't know if somebody's going to be able to do much with Grixer laying down below. Bosco's now in position. There you go. Maybe using some sound. It goes off. Cluster charges will drop. No impact tricking whatsoever. I'd say that's pretty successful. The hatch gets opened up. Grixer doesn't lose any HP in the process. He's still going to hold this spot, but he's just watching everything fall away from him. This is a dirty angle. And he misses. He misses entirely. Rampy doesn't take any damage. Could we see another cluster charge go off? What a shot from Grixer on the Canadian, avenged by Rampy. But you've still lost the thermite. Somebody will have to grab that diffuser as it's been placed down. And more destruction work from the fuse above. 40 seconds left in round number 5. The winner of this round takes control of the first half.
Well, this is still anyone's round. As much as SSG has got the drop open, that hasn't won them the round overall. They don't even have dirt control. Look at that. Alfalma's in dirt. He can deny the plant at any moment when he springs back into action. From box 1, or box 3 rather, Rexon not going to land his shots. Bosco allowed into cubby. He's going to go for a plant. The gas canister is too little too late. Bosco's going to be able to get the... No! Cans it with the impact! Saves it in the nick of time! Almost a second left there. Rampy's going to have to drop now, and into the smoke he goes. Downed by Alfalma's gas canister and eliminated. Fulton thinking 8 on the rush have no chance. And eUnited take round number 5 and the first half.
Another opening duel works in their favor as Rampy had to wait about 40 to 45 seconds inside a kitchen in the hallway before he was able to get that first cluster charge off. And I understand the strategy behind it, and I think it was totally fine. But then from that point onward, it looked like too much of SSG's focus was on isolating the players from eUnited, picking them off from above, and then going for the hot drop. Obviously did not work out quite effectively because eUnited knew when to push at the right time, and there was either just simply somebody from SSG not watching or unable to land their shots. And when that happens, you lose the second player with the diffuser in their hand. First Canadian died in his engagement upstairs in kitchen. I wouldn't really call it an engagement. It looked like he got picked off without knowing the position of eUnited. There's Grixer down below that was playing on the Valkyrie. That was so integral. But then everybody else from SSG just fell and met their doom. And we talked about it in map number 1. You are extremely vulnerable when you fall through a hatch. You don't know what angles the other players are going to be looking at. You don't know if they're going to have utility for you. There could be a C4 getting there at the same time that you do. There could be a toxic canister. As we saw, there was a toxic canister, so that one is true at least. Just way too many variables, and then you're extremely vulnerable as you hit the ground.
Parker, you ever think about something like after and be like, oh, that would have been so funny?
Explain.
When the fuse dropped into the gas canisters, I could have been it could have been like Alfalma celebrating his baby with a reveal party. I don't know. It doesn't work as well.
Yeah, you gotta workshop that.
You gotta workshop. You gotta
workshop that, Michael.
A gender reveal party?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. But it would have been funny, though. It could have been.
I believe in you.
if someone funnier than I.
Nobody,
Rick's
Michael,
is he gonna try to
Nobody.
bandit trick this?
is funnier than you.
That is the best joke of the year. Thank you, Parker.
You're welcome.
Now, Alfalma actually going to break the barricade. Grixer's going to fall off the bandit tricking. I think that's probably the safe bet. It's not easy to do that in 2020, even with a Maverick and Thatcher ban. You've got the Collie in play here for Thinking Nade. He's going to try and apply some pressure to that wall, deny the batteries.
Grixer got swung on from the back window on B, and I don't know if he's going to try to get this or not, but they don't have bandit batteries on. They have the Kaid Electric Claws on either side of the door.
There's this setup you can do with the Electric Claws that are completely hidden, and Kali can't get them. There's one by the shelf and one in the hallway. You have to shoot the one by the shelf from the server window, but it's still hard to find it. So they're relying on that to slow up SSG. This is not an easy problem to circumvent.
For what it's worth, there were actually bandit batteries on the wall as well. Those have been taken out by the Kali charge, but they're going to need to try to find the location of the other Electric Claw. Meanwhile,
It could be
TikTok,
downstairs.
and I don't mean the app, Michael, 90 seconds so far have been expended as they are trying to determine the location of this gadgetry that's stopping SSG from getting into the bomb site.
The hallway one is almost impossible to get. You can if you do it the explosive right through the drone hole. I think the electrical, the other one might be downstairs. It could also be by the shelf. But either way, it's stumping SSG, and that's the main problem. They have to adjust their attack, and they don't have time to do it now as they're coming down to the last 60 seconds. This is very dangerous for Space Station.
Do or die now, as they're going to look to try to tie things up, or rather that eUnited will come away with the scoreline that everybody wants, 4-2. This is Clubhouse is a very friendly map to the defense, and eUnited have proven themselves to not be anywhere near as much of a slouch as on this map as people might have expected. Right now, there's a listlessness from SSG as they haven't really been able to take much ground. 30 seconds is all they have to pull off and execute. And it's going to come from over in construction. You can see that there's good patience from the bandit at the top of red stairs waiting. Yeti will get the lead off kill. The opening duel so far breaking 5-1 in favor of eUnited. Will they be able to do more with it? One from Kansan as a Nitro Cell finds Rampy. He's Nitro felled, leaving Canadian and Thinking Nade in a 2v5. One kill from Thinking Nade on Alfama, but it's too little, too late. A single impactless frag from Space Station. And a disappointing first half, I think you could say, from Space Station, as it's a 4-2 lead for eUnited, showing that Clubhouse isn't quite the dub house for SSG, as we've all come to expect.
Or at least not on the first half. But again, you got to keep in mind the current attack bans and the map itself. So now that SSG is on the defensive half, they should have a distinct advantage here. You could see, though, based on the delayed selection of their operators, I'm guessing they're probably thinking a lot about what's going on here. So, SSG, a little in their own heads. That last round, what happened there, for those of you wondering, is Kali as an operator, yes, explosive on the hard wall, through the hard wall, able to assist in opening up that hard wall. However, the electro claws were placed in the hallway high above the drone hole, meaning the explosives that go through the drone hole aren't always going to get that electric claw. It can be dodged sometimes, and SSG didn't even try that. The other electric claw was either placed downstairs. I didn't actually get to see it. It was either placed downstairs or, much more likely, in the shelf that is next to the wall, and SSG couldn't get that open. It took them 2 minutes to realize that. 1 minute left, they try to shove it through Workshop, and that is one of the easiest attacks to hold against. And United just put their guns up, waited for the inevitable push in the dying seconds of the round. Pretty easy holdout. I mean, it could have gone SSG's way with some choice frags on the initial entry, but it was just very unlikely. So eUnited, well played there. Now SSG gets to defend. They'll start on the bottom floor.
This is where we see how much that Vigil ban impacts them, because you can see that SSG is going to be trotting out an all too familiar lineup. The Mozzie, the Mute, and the Castle. Obviously, not having a Vigil present means that just one of those 4 operators that are so important when it comes to hiding or cloaking their position, well, I guess they don't need it right now because thinking nade's going to down Yeti right away. So you don't need the vigil necessarily. If you're eUnited, you're just going to face check and, well, die. If they could secure Yeti, that would be a huge win. But I think for now, he'll be able to just hold out. And he gets picked back up. So there you go. So he's lost about 80 HP.
Not a great start there for eUnited. Now, the IQ is good in that she's going to be able to locate electronics. But on the defense, the only, the most useful she's going to be is probably for the Electro Claws. In case it happens to be the same scenario that United just did to SSG. The roamers upstairs will fall back in the nick of time. They'll get out of that top floor. You can see there's a little bit of lingering going on here in the middle floor. Possibly attempting to delay a little bit further. Yeti's lost a lot of HP on this clear. If he doesn't get anything back for that, it'll be a big win for SSG. C4 will miss, and there's the kill. Yeti peeks perfectly, but Rampy is ready actually from the basement to refrag his teammate. Looking through that drop. It's going to be an even exchange for both players, and my feed is frozen.
Mine is also big dead, is what we call it.
All right, well. Now, we don't know...
But I am impressed. I am notoriously hard to impress, and I have been quite hard on eUnited so far. And they are showing up much more than I thought that they were going to. So let's get back into it. Round number 8 underway. CCTV cache, as we discussed, Michael. Set the expectations for us for the remainder of this matchup.
Well, the advantage is in way of SSG. They won the first round of the second half as they came onto defense. With the attacker bans, they have a significant advantage. Those attacker bans being Thatcher and Maverick. That makes hard destruction incredibly difficult, especially with Kai being unbanned. SSG took the basement. Now they're going to cache the, for some teams, secondary, for some teams, primary bomb site on Clubhouse. Basement and cache should be a foregone conclusion, a win for SSG. That'll bring us up to a 4-4. Now, the crucial moment, the key moment, is whether or not eUnited will be able to take the gym defense. If eUnited wins attack onto gym, then they are still in the running. That will certainly put them in, at the very least, an OT position. So this is still anyone's match, but a lot is going to hinge on the next round after this one. Though you should expect SSG to take this round. If they don't, that is going to put eUnited in the driver's seat outright.
If SSG takes this round, that means that Gym Master will be the next site up on the board. And as I said, that's where you see if the levy holds, if the levy breaks. Yep, the attackers take it. eUnited regains their advantage as it would essentially break the 4-4 tie. So SSG are setting up very late, by the way. We are 40 seconds into action, and there is still destruction going on from SSG on the cache to CCTV wall. This is done for a couple reasons. The biggest reason is so you can lob a nitro cell over top and kill somebody if they're planting. It also allows you, if you're standing on the table, to have a sight on the window that leads to the catwalk inside of garage. So there's a multitude of reasons for this. It also allows you to play off of somebody if they're planting default, if somebody tries to swing on you, etc. You have more ways to peek out on defense.
It's a cheeky angle into stock there for Rampy. Z waits for the opportunity to present itself. Nothing yet, though, from United. Have they gotten the wall open is the big question. The answer, no. It's probably the same exact electro clause. Yep. One high in the hallway. The other one either below or by the shelf. It looks like it's by the shelf. So it'll be somewhere tucked in that little shelf next to the wall. Now, with those two electro claws in place, it's very difficult to get the wall open. And so eUnited will simply attempt something different. Nade goes towards the entrance to garage. Not getting anything. Oh, you can see they're looking for the electro claws. Okay, IQ can shoot the electro claws through the floor, but she has to be covered by her teammates. That is easier said than done. Yeti will peek out and win the fight with Thinking Aid. That is huge. So the electro claw doesn't see it, so he whips out the scanner. Turns out it's in the sight by the shelf, and it's too little, too late. Kansan will get Canadian trying to cover IQ, but Rampy does get the IQ. And oh, look at that. The electro claw has been found. Regardless of all the action elsewhere, the wall will get opened. And with eUnited having the man advantage, This is a strong win.
Fultz holding off on this position that will lead up onto the catwalk, while the remainder of the two SSG players, both Bosco and Rampy, will likely try to hold down a push into the site. Hard to tell which ones are toxic canisters versus smoke grenades, but there's a kill for Fultz on catwalk, and he's right in the thick of it. He's going to lose this engagement right now to Rexon if he doesn't see it, but no! He pops up, and he wins the fight miraculously. Rampy has his teammates back, and it's all Grixer now with only 5 seconds left. He doesn't have the diffuser, and he doesn't have a hope. A desperation hit of the hammer will signal the end of the round, and Space Station draws even with eUnited. It's 4-4. Both of these teams, as we saw in Map 1, so closely matched.
So I didn't catch the part where they got the Electroclaw, but the fact that eUnited did was pretty big. However, I don't know if it was the right call to invest so much time and manpower into getting the Electroclaw. I mean, well, no. Sorry, I don't not know. It clearly wasn't. Even though they were able to get the wall open, eUnited had not the faintest chance in winning that round because they had been so fixated on the server wall that they didn't have time to clear anything else. And a simple push in through the server wall does not an attack make. SSG, an easy hold out there. Great job in garage. Fultz managed to hold on and prevent that push. That would have given the second prong to eUnited and made that attack a lot more versatile. Now we go to Jim, and as you mentioned, Parker, as I mentioned as well, this is the real test here for eUnited. This is possibly the final say on whether or not this could go to OT, or if even eUnited can win this. If SSG takes this site, the chances of eUnited recovering on this map and bringing us to a map number 3 dwindle to close to 0. So it's really on eUnited. They need to win here, if anywhere.
Historically, this has been a pretty good bomb site for SSG as well. They hold off the cache with a lot of finesse. I always think back to when Rampy was playing Kaid, and he held off on cache when Kaid had access to the impact grenades, and he was juggling and he was impact tricking, and it was good stuff. So
yeah, I mean,
Fultz is going to be playing the Kaid this time, and SSG is a very flexible team when it comes to lineups, so you'll likely see them swapping off of operators depending on what bomb site and what map they're on. Not a surprise here.
Interestingly, I'm looking at the stats now, and this is actually SSG's best bomb site over the last 3 games that they've played this map, not including this one. Defensively speaking, SSG has played Gym 6 times, Church 7 times, and Cache 5 times over the last 3 maps, and they win Gym more than anywhere else. So, does not bode well for United. Oh. That's a big kill there for Rampy. Down goes Grixer, and it's going to be another for Rampy, assisted by his teammate. 2 big kills, but at least Kanzan is there to get the refrag. Not all is lost yet for eUnited, but certainly not a great start.
No, that Yeti and Grixer both being removed, well, those are 2 of the best players that are in this lobby right now for eUnited, and crucial operators as well when it comes to Sledge having the only set of frag grenades and Yeti's IQ scanner being so important to pinpoint the locations of any Electroclaws, etc. that they have to deal with. This should be a relatively easy impact onto the wall, and missed opportunities from Canadian. Oh god, that's why he IGLs and plays support. That is a rough go of it. But it looks like he was able to get the exothermic charge, so he doesn't have to worry about anybody coming at his back like that. Instead, there's going to be a Selma dropped, and he loses his fight to the thermite. It's a bit of an embarrassment, and very minimal damage done to both Rexon and Alfama. But lots of time wasted, lots of utility wasted. So, gunfights, maybe not the be-all, end-all for SSG. It's also a 3v3 with just under a minute remaining in this crucial round, as you've called it.
Now, the drop over by Logistics has been opened, but because eUnited doesn't have enough manpower, they can't actually commit anyone to that play. They need to rotate the Zofia, Rexon, over to the south balcony, where he can apply pressure to the site and deny a multitude of rotations. The Logistics is still in control of the attack, though, as Alfama goes on the entry there. He'll actually get faults on said entry, and that's a really big kill. As we hit the last 20 seconds, it's required that the attack gets site control, and they're going to do that quite spectacularly. Alfama getting his 3rd kill. Kanzan the final kill, and eUnited take the round they desperately needed to keep themselves in this map.
Only one victory so far on attack, by the way, but that's okay because the pattern that emerges is pretty much where we see it usually, which is, well, you lose Jim. And so the prophecy foretold that the attackers have won Jim Master both times, young squire. Back to Church Arsenal they're going to go. And this is going to be SSG looking to try to keep themselves at even pace with eUnited. I do agree that the stakes were very high on that round. But if you believe that there's a cycle when it comes to these maps and the way that they play out certain bomb sites, it's not the end of the world that they lost Jim Master, and SSG will need to recover. I hate to say it, but if Canadian doesn't completely and spectacularly botch his shots on the Zofia, the likelihood that SSG wins that round shoots through the roof.
Yeah, I mean...
Rampy starts things off by getting 2 kills. Canadian does excellent gadget work to deny the entry from the thermite, the top of red, into cash. He doesn't have anything left in the tank to stop the Selmas, but that's okay if he can take out the Zofia. There go your explosives, there go your stuns. He is then faced with confronting the thermite in a much better position. And he's losing the wall behind him. He knows that because you can hear the Selmas going off. I think, honestly, that makes a colossal difference on the round. And the likelihood of SSG winning it, like I said, it skyrockets. So sometimes you miss your shots. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. In Canadian's case, you miss 100% of the shots you do take as well.
Oof. You're right. Yeah, I think it was a lot of layers that contributed to that, of course. Now, it could have been done better, but here we are. Still, SSG are in a winnable position, so it's not all lost. Oh, almost worked out perfectly. Thinking made a really smart move there. The C4 not so much.
That was...
Okay, I spoke too soon. I'm sorry. I spoke too soon. Now, Yeti will get the kill through the wall, but it's been refragged by Rampy as Yeti attempts a re-peek. That's not a great call there. The roam upstairs working out great so far for SSG, despite the mishap with Thinking Aid. The delay has been a major factor here as well. I mean, look at that. A minute shaved off the clock. And the IQ to boot.
Canadian downstairs in the strip club. He's going to be able to run out the door and see if he can get Alfama on Jacuzzi balcony. That'll be the goal for the Legion. He's going to have to be quick about it. If Alfama's in a vulnerable position, well, that might be a tough spot for him. Canadian actually looks prepped and ready to look over towards the balcony that leads into construction, but he's setting up a goo mine. He might actually stay there for quite a while if there's somebody playing up in that spot. There is no Valkyrie on the board, so there's no intel for them unless a default has been left up, which does happen. We have seen teams do it before. So Canadian can be a difference maker. The big problem with the way that the Legion is playing in Strip Club is that if they determine his location, he's going to have to fight his way out. If he doesn't fight his way out, what might end up happening is eUnited, and they will now discover his location, so this is going to be a tough spot for him, is that he's going to be wasting a lot of time, yes. But if they push the site, we will have to retake without him. There he goes. He doesn't miss those shots. Down goes Grixer. Well played. And that's a big blow to eUnited. Canadian waiting to see if there's going to be another person on deck. But for now, he's going to live in the backs of their minds rent-free with Rexon sneaking up on him ever so slightly.
The time being wasted. And that Legion trap gives away the intentions of Rexon. Now he's got to make a decision. Do I commit to the fight and possibly lose it, losing the round? Or do I go for the push into sight? Alfama supports Rexon, and while Rexon loses half his HP, really the main loss here is the time. Look at that. Manpower equalized, but only 25 seconds to transition into a sight take? That is not enough. The Selma's going out onto the walls. C4 detonates there, destroying one of them, sort of. C4 into Moto, nets nothing. Rampy needs to hold against 2 attackers pushing into Church, but he doesn't even look the right way. Church control established for the attack. This could be a plant, but not so, as Fultz is there with the UMP and utility. Bosco now flanking as well. Kansan has no opportunity to plant, going for the frags, and he just can't do it. Not enough time. SSG will take the round, and that's a really important one.
So Canadian is a huge part of why the previous round ultimately gets lost, and then is a huge part of why that round is won. Taking out the sledge, engaging with the Zofia, causing Rexon and Alfama to be deep inside of Strip with 35 seconds left. 35 seconds. Doesn't really matter where the ace is. At that point, you trail in numbers because Yeti had died earlier. Down goes Grixer. You're in rough shape if you're eUnited. And it came pretty close. I will give them some commendation for how they were able to attack the back of Church and then expecting somebody to push them, as Rampy did with the Nitro Cell. They just swing right into Church. It was the right call. Chaos ensues. Smokes go down. Site is cleaved in half. But ultimately, it's too little too late. Just as so many rounds have been decided by the timer. And I don't even know if utility is the outright culprit because SSG has not been running a strong utility-based lineup every round. I don't know how much of it is just simply eUnited still struggling to find a good voice, to get everybody lined up because they did make so many changes that they could just be trying to iron out proper strats. And we both agree this eUnited lineup is superior to the one before so far, but they've obviously still got stuff to work out.
Yeah, no, I'm impressed by eUnited. I'm really happy with the way that they've been playing. You always love to see teams get their I guess what they deserve in terms of performance. And yeah, I agree. There's some work to be done. There's certainly I think a little bit of communication error. Seems a lot on eUnited. They make up for it in their assertive nature as players, as individuals, but often that can put them into worse positions than they would like. So it sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't work for eUnited, the way that the synergy, I guess, pans out. Now, it's not over yet, but it's certainly an advantage SSG right now, just based on the nature of the map. Impact tricking going on to the garage. That's one Selma. I think he got it. Hard to tell.
He
with
did
the
get
rattle.
it, yes.
There you go. So,
See,
second Selma, though, is lower.
If he didn't get it, Michael, what would have happened is it would have kept going off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's...
No, I couldn't hear it, so...
See, you can... Why? You have like a... Are you like deaf in one ear or something?
Yeah.
What? Since when?
I know, yeah.
That is...
Happened yesterday.
Dude, I feel like I don't know anything about yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah. No, not actually. Rexon will get Canadian. I think that was the player on Rafters. That's a huge pick. He's not supposed to win that engagement. And then Yeti adds to it by getting Rampy, who had been trying to assist Canadian from below. Those two picks will completely remove SSG from the garage and give eUnited a great prong on the attack. But Fultz, the ball's on this man. He retakes Rafters. That is huge. Yeti gets Thinking Nade in the site, though, so it gets worse for SSG. Fultz will get the first kill for his team in an unsuspected location. Another big kill for Fultz, and he could actually clutch this up for his team.
1 minute left, still playing on Rafters right now. It looked like somebody from eUnited was going to try to dare him on a fight on the main door, but he's just going to bide as much time as possible. eUnited making the right call here by, instead of provoking him, going for the actual site. They have an objective to carry out, and Alfama is going to be really important in that. Yeti is poised to strike into action. He could go after either Fultz or Bosco, as Bosco is playing deep inside of Cash, just waiting ever so patiently. And I don't think SSG is going to try to get too aggressive here. They're not going to play very pretty at all. They're just going to wait. Bosco takes out Yeti, and what was a round that seemed almost certainly in favor of eUnited is now very heavily for SSG. Just as I say that, though, Alfama gets scared away by a Nitro Cell. Rexon punishes Fultz, but the timer is so low that Alfama's going to have to get in and play the objective. Where is he as we see Bosco in a 1v2? We call him the Clutch Master. He takes out the Zofia, just needs to waste time. He sees the Thermite and gets it! What a play from Bosco! And it's match point for Space Station.
Incredible play there from Bosco and Fultz. A huge round to take for SSG. And we're going to go for a rehost. For those of you who don't know, which is everybody, I've just been...
Go differently. Or we see overtime, in which case SSG will defend twice. If SSG has to defend twice in overtime, it will almost assuredly be Church on one of the defenses and then Cash on the other. That's how you expect it to go. But given what we just saw out of the Cash defense from Space Station, it is not a given that they are going to prevail on that bomb site. They should really not have won that round, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah, they shouldn't have. That should have been the upset round, and eUnited should be on match point right now. Let's be real clear about that. Now, if eUnited can play in this round the same way with the same lethality as they did in the previous one, great. Well, then we'll see OT, no problem. Moving on. However, it is really hard to shake a clutch that the enemy got mentally. So the fact that SSG won that round, that Boss Goat clutched up in the 1v2 really does mean a lot. I think in terms of how where it's going to place United mentally. And even SSG, it hypes you up when your teammate clutches like that.
It is unfortunate that there had to be a rehost after it, but I am certain that this team is still just as amped as ever.
Yeah.
Now we have a minute exhausted from this round, and we'll look at Canadian inside of Cash. He was very good on this spot before, minus his aim. He used those impacts to great effect in order to stop the exothermic charges from going off, and there you go. He tries to get baited into it, but here's a bit of a difference. He's going to get stunned and use one on a Selma. Thinks there's somebody at the door, but it's a phantom illusion. He loses the exothermic charge, and oh no, the thermite can't connect for whatever reason. Alfama cannot dispatch Canadian, who's now going to get felled, but he's traded right back from Fultz. So Canadian was unsuccessful at stopping the invasion from eUnited to Cash, but while the heist is pulled off, it's a refrag from SSG, and that is crucial. 90 seconds or less remain in round number 12, and these teams will sit at even numbers.
Even more crucial, look at the setup from SSG. They predicted the cash take, and they were right. Canadian did worse on the cash hold this time than last time, but it's irrelevant. So much time wasted as we come down to the last 60 seconds now, and importantly, the workshop walls are not only reinforced fully, but electrocuted by the Kaid Electro Claw, which means the cash control is not as important as it could have been. Now, it means that you're going to be able to vault in from the south balcony. Yes, you won't have to worry about a defender inside of workshop holding the windows on the hard 90 angle, but it also means the attack has less ability to pressure in through logistics. Only one avenue persists here, and that's the small door into the A-bomb site. This is not ideal for the attack.
Grenade from Grixer might go off to try and take out the denial there. Down goes Fultz, so a fight from eUnited might actually end up working out in their favor as they now have command of these numbers. And the Selmas will go off, allowing entry into logistics. eUnited turns their sights towards the bomb site. Maestro doing a bit of damage to Kansan, and he and Yeti are going to join Grixer inside of logistics. Thinking Nade goes down, and it's everybody getting in on the fun. Rampy will need to win a 1v3. Is his position known? He's down below. He did this at SI. He needs to stop them through the pings on the floor, but he might not be able to do so. He'll have to retake from the stairs, but he hears the gunfire above him. Overtime, almost a certainty at this point, as 40 seconds remain for Rampy to be able to clutch. A 1v3 with all the eyes of eUnited set on the only way into the bomb site. This is going to be one hell of a take. Waiting for them to line up. He peeks, one flick, too many to look at. He's not even going to get one overtime for eUnited. A wave of relief sweeps through their team house, and we have at least 2 more rounds on Clubhouse to settle this one.
The tenacity on eUnited is ridiculous. There was absolutely nothing suggesting that eUnited ought to win that round. And we're seeing that time and time again with both of these squads. We might have to call Rexon. We might have to call for a rehost. We'll see what happens as the admins decide and the players figure out if they actually have the bug. Anyway, that round, let's break it down. eUnited should have lost through and through. The reinforcement on the workshop wall, the Electroclaw, so smart from SSG, being well aware of what was going to happen inside of Cash. Canadian didn't do a great job of delaying by Cash, but he did an adequate job. And as a result, it was very difficult for the attack to transition from the Cash take to the site take. But the nade from the from the roof through the drop down, getting the Electroclaw, and then the Selma in the last 25 seconds turned out to be enough for eUnited to absolutely slaughter SSG on the site through their through the crossfire and take site control, get that plant down. Beautiful stuff there for eUnited. I think it might have been a different story had Rampy actually been on the site to assist in the gunfights. might have been a little bit different, but not different enough. I think that eUnited played that really well. It looks like we're going to be continuing, by the way.
We will surge and march onward, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
We will march onward.
Once more,
Onto the breach.
dear friends.
Once more.
So the official call is... Oh, no, Rampy! What is that? Oh, boy.
Oh, my.
That Selma got hit by a mute jammer, by the way. It cannot open the wall due to the mute jammer. So it's just going to... I guess it's just on the wall? Yeah. It's going to sit there. As I was trying to say, sorry to interrupt you. Just get this off. The official call is because the rehost was already used, they're not going to be able to use the rehost again for what's going on here.
The rules that I know of are 1 rehost per team per map.
Yes. So here we
So
are.
unless eUnited decides to be nice, which why would you ever do that?
Yeah, don't do that. I actively...
Never interrupt your opponent when they are making a mistake is the go-to saying here.
Yeah.
Look at SSG's playstyle upstairs. Very similar to what we've seen before. Canadian takes out Rexon, and right now this fight is being won and lost by eUnited upstairs. 3 members of eUnited removed, and they haven't even begun to think about targeting the basement. They are still looking to clear out above.
What?
There's a 4th as Thinking Nade takes out Grixer, and this could very easily be a flawless round. It all rests on the shoulders of Kenzen to get 1 or 2 kills. Can Zen he do it?
I doubt it. He's already been spotted. The entirety of the defensive team will now collapse onto him, and well, there goes Kansan. Rampy, the one credited with the kill. A flawless round for SSG. And yeah, Troy apparently has the sound bug. Unfortunate for him. And yeah, it's going to be... SSG's going to call for rehost again. I'm guessing. Now, we're not the admins here, but we can
Lycan
guess.
knows the rules.
Yeah, Lycan does know the rules.
Lycan knows the rules.
We can guess that the admins are going to go ahead and shoot that down again, because they already used theirs. So we'll see. Of course, we'll wait for the call, but this should be a continuation here. Anyway, that round was absolute domination by the roamers of SSG. Their commitment to the fights. No one on SSG strayed away from a fight. They all committed openly to any engagement they could find and took it hard. They won all of those.
And there you have it. eUnited saying that if they want to get one, they can do it. We'll see if anything is done. As I said, eUnited could use their timeout on it, but that is a show of good faith if they choose to go through with it.
Yeah, they need to outright say it, I think, in order for that to happen.
I think so as well.
Yeah. Just saying they're open to it. And the communication, I don't think it's happening right now. It might be behind the scenes, not in the text chat. And there you go. Yeah, it probably was happening behind the scenes. So the admins will confirm rehost has been called. Canadian doesn't have to deal with the sound bug anymore. And we will pick things back